the end as it was at the beginning. And my mom became very ill and died. Everyone, including myself, thought my father would die soon afterwards, more out of a broken heart and loneliness than anything. But he continued to live, and then his needs became increasingly more apparent. He ended up in a wheelchair, and I had to move him out of his home, out of their home, moved him to an assisted living facility here in town. Great facility, and he was set up. And I would go see him every day. And when I first went, I would go to his room. I'd never find him in his room. He was a very social guy, a social butterfly. He loved people. He thrived on that interaction with others and got strength from that, as we all do. And so then I would go out and I'd find him in the lobby, or I'd find him in the dining room, and he was just having a great time. He had all these friends, and it was joyful. It was wonderful for him, and I was so pleased about that. But then over time, I started to notice, so concurrent with that, I was nervous because he was in the wheelchair now full time. He had lost a lot of his upper body strength, and I couldn't get him in and out of my car any longer. So I was his means of transportation. I couldn't take him anywhere. And I was mostly worried about his doctor. And we all know what an intimate relationship and a long-term relationship that is with your physician. So I went to his doctor and I asked him, if I paid you extra, would you come to see my dad? Doctors used to do that, and he respectfully declined and told me why, and I accepted that. It's kind of what I expected, but I was just perplexed. I didn't know what to do. So someone told me about VIA. It was special transit at the time, and I called, and someone spoke to me about my dad, and it turns out my dad qualified for the service. I thought, perfect. So now let me go back to when I would come and visit him. It went from finding him in the lobby or visiting with staff members or in the dining room to finding him in his room. It was a little bit of a concern to me, but it grew to a point where I'd find him in the corner of his room, just staring out into space. And it was heartbreaking. It absolutely broke my heart. And then that's when I was able to make the connection with VIA. So I called the doctor's office, made an appointment, went in, got my dad, brought him out to the lobby, and right at the appointed time, the driver pulled up, walks in, and introduces himself, and I wish I could remember the driver's name, but I lost that detail, but I'm going to call him Ed. So Ed says, I'm Ed, and I'm going to be your driver today, and he looked at my father. My father's name is Eldon. He goes by Chris, and he said, are you Chris? And he said, yes, I am. And he said, it's nice to meet you. I'm going to take you, and he recognized the address. He said, I believe I'm taking you to the doctor today. Is that right? And my dad looked at me and to make sure that that was right, and I said, yes, that's correct. And he said, then he asked me who I was, and I told him I was his son. My name's Craig, and so on. And he said, well, Craig, I've got this. It's great to meet you, but I've got this. And so he took my dad and escorted him to the bus, brought the lift down, put him up, secured him, and off they went. I followed and watched him get off, and then the driver said, hey, Craig, I'm just going to take him right up to the door if you don't mind, and brought him inside. I attended the appointment with my father, and then we reversed that, different driver going back, and I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And so then I made an appointment with the dentist, and I took care of all of those essential kinds of things. And then my dad asked me, he said, would they take me someplace else? And I said, where do you want to go? And he said, like the senior center, library, something like that. And that's what happened. And pretty soon, over time, I started to find my dad back out in the lobby. Found him in the dining room. I could never find him in his room until the very end. And no one could ever convince me of this. I believe my dad lived about another 2 years thanks to Via. I really do believe that. We gave him his independence back. We gave him a purpose and some meaning in his life again. So, I'm forever grateful to this organization for the fine work that we do every single day, every single trip. We make a difference for people. And as I share with new drivers, at the end of the day, provided you do the work that we ask you to do, and do it the way that we ask you to do it, at the end of the day, you can look in the mirror and say, I made a difference. I made a difference for Chris. I made a difference for Mary. I made a difference for whomever. And in my mind, there's not a better feeling in the world than knowing that I've been able to touch somebody in that regard. And so I want to thank you for the work that you do and the support that you provide us so that we can continue to make a difference for members of our community. It is, as Frank said, and he hears me say this all the time, the alarm goes off, and I can't wait to get here. I literally can't wait to get here. I'm surrounded by like-minded, like-hearted people who are committed to making a difference for other members of our community. And so, anyway, I'll stop. I've said enough. I thank you for putting up with the emotion. I just can't get through this without that, I guess. And that's just who I am. But thank you so much for being here, and happy birthday, happy anniversary to Via. Zoe?